Hello and welcome to this clip all about convection currents. This comes under the Hazardous Earth section of the exam within the Tectonics topic. So just to start us off for this topic, we're going to have a look at the different layers of the Earth and recap and remind ourselves of these different parts. So within the centre of the Earth we have our Earth's core, and then just outside we have the largest section, which is our mantle. And all of our convection currents take place within the mantle due to the heat and the energy produced by the core. So first of all, just a little recap: convection currents. So they are the movement, the circular movement within our Earth's mantle. They work very similarly to a lava lamp. So with the heat, the energy coming from the lamp at the bottom of the lamp, the energy coming there, causing it to rise up to the top, the cooling process and the sinking. So this is exactly the same as what is happening within our Earth. So for your exam, if we look at our exam link at the bottom, you need to know about the internal heat source, which is generated in the core through radioactive decay, and how this generates the convection, which produces our tectonic plate movement at the Earth's crust. So, convection currents. So as we've just said, convection currents are created by the heat in the Earth's core. The heat is generated by something called radioactive decay. Radioactive decay is produced by the splitting of the nucleus within our atoms. You don't need to know too much about radioactive decay. All you need to know is that this process happens in the core and it generates large amounts of energy. So when the Earth's core generates this energy, so we know the Earth's core is a solid. And what this does is it heats up the liquid part of our mantle situated above. As the liquid is heated, this causes our liquid molten rock to rise up towards the Earth's surface. So as it rises up towards the Earth's surface, we have a massive heat difference. So down here in the Earth's core, we have temperatures of over 5,000 degrees. As we move to the Earth's surface, the crust is about 400 degrees here and gradually gets cooler all the way down to the Earth's temperature. If you're struggling with some of this information about the Earth's different layers, make sure you go back and watch the video on the properties of our Earth structure. So as this cooling process takes place, our liquid starts to cool down. As our liquid molten rock cools down, it starts to change its state back into a solid. So as it changes back into our solid, the particles move much closer together, making our rock much more heavy. So as this happens, this solid rock starts to drag and push the crust apart, which you can see taking place here. So this leads to friction and movement at the surface of the Earth. So this is ultimately what causes our tectonic plates to move, which we'll focus on in the next video. As this cooling process takes place, our solid becomes heavier, eventually causing it to sink back through our liquid molten rock in the mantle, which causes it to head back towards the hot temperatures at the core. As it reaches these hot temperatures of the core, melting takes place again and our molten rock becomes a liquid. This heating process leads to our molten rock moving back towards the Earth's surface, and the cycle continues. So this circular motion, much like the circular motion within our water cycle, leads to convection. This is what is the movement of our Earth's plates. So just to summarize that, I've put it into 6 summarized bullet points. So the core generates our heat through radioactive decay. The heated rock rises through the mantle. The rock cools as it reaches the crust. This pulls and pushes the crust apart. The rock sinks to the bottom of the mantle and our cycle is repeated. So make sure you learn those 6 different steps and stages of your convection currents. Okay, so finally we're going to have a look at how you can be tested in your exam all about tectonic plate movement and our convection currents. So on the screen you can see an exam question. The command word for this question is explain. So when we are being asked to explain, you are talking about why something is happening. So why this is taking place. We are looking at one cause. So why it's happening of our tectonic plate movement. So the cause that we looked at was our convection currents. So what I want you to do, I want you to have a look at this question. You can pause this clip, have a go. It's a 3-mark question, so you get 3 minutes in the exam to answer what is taking place. So you are explaining one cause of tectonic plate movement. Okay, so let's have a look at the mark scheme for this question then. So here's one of the examples as to what you can talk about, but really the possibilities for your answers in this question can come from any of the 6 points within your convection currents. So convection currents cause plate movement, so you get 1 mark for mentioning your convection currents here. These currents are generated from heat from the core. So if you've mentioned something to do with your heat being generated from the core, you could have spoken about the heat causing the rising of the mantle. That's completely fine. And then your final point, and which pushes, pulls and drags the overlying plates. This last point is really, really important. The reason why this last point is important is because the question is asking you about your tectonic plate movement. So it is this dragging, pushing and pulling of the crust that is causing your plates to move. So the first 2 points can come from anywhere within this slide here that we have looked at about your different stages, but your final point needs to come from this link to the dragging or the pulling and the pushing of your tectonic plates. So have a look through your answer for this exam. Go back over the video clip if you struggled with that to give you any extra support or help. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the clip and found it useful for all your geography revision needs, please hit the like button below. If you want access to more content like this, more revision playlists, more exam technique and feedback, please subscribe to the channel. Regular content will be added and updated to help support you on your GCSE journey.